Welcome back. Compassion. So moving on from agreeableness to the subfactor of compassion. And I scored low because I scored a 16th percentile. Hey, it's a little better than my agreeableness score, right? You are low in compassion, which is one aspect of agreeableness. Let me skip right down to the paragraph here. Much less compassionate people are not primarily oriented towards the problems of other people or other living things. They're less swayed by cuteness. They're willing to make other people experience negative emotion by engaging in conflict and competition. They like to win and will engage in confrontation to do so. They're substantially less concerned with helping other people. They make sure their own needs and interests are attended to and are less willing to sacrifice for the sake of other people. This can make them harsh and unsympathetic. People might turn to them for the cold, hard truth, but not for a soft, patient, eternally listening ear. Okay, so I know you can keep going on. Being aware of compassion for myself, or my lack of compassion, right? I'm compassionless. Again, the awareness here for me is that I need to realize that most people expect at least a little more compassion from me. They expect it because few people are going to be in the 16th through 0 percentile. That's 84% of people are going to be on the other direction. 83 of 100 people are going to be expecting more compassion, more empathy, more care. And so, I mean, even this one is hard sometimes to grapple with and to say, I'm just not that compassionate of a person. But even though I'm not compassionate by nature, doesn't mean I can't honor compassionate people and their desire for compassion. I tend to be, hey, look, if there's a problem, try and go solve it. Do it yourself, because you're the only one who's actually equipped to run your own life. But it's like, but frankly, there are things where life just sucks and you have to deal with it. And I guess what I want to say is that as I become aware of my lack of compassion, I realize that compassion isn't central. It's not normal, right? It's not normative, maybe is a better word. It's not normative. That I'm too harsh and critical. That most people are not quite this way. And yes, those on the other side that are like the 83rd percent and above, maybe they're too compassionate, right? You're too compassionate. You're too swayed by some of these other things. So again, what I really want to do is I want to come towards the middle. I want to hit the 50. I don't need to get all the way over to the 80s or 90s in my compassion. I just need to hit 50. Okay? If I can hit 50 and my wife, my partner can meet me there, can be a little less compassionate while I am more compassionate, then we have a little bit of grace that can cover over the middle, okay, and can allow us to be in relationship with each other. Okay, much less information here on compassion. Let's roll right into politeness, which is the next one, exceptionally low. Second percentile this time. People who are exceptionally low in politeness challenge and confront authority, and they are not obedient. If they are respectful, it is grudgingly and will only be manifested toward people who continually both deserve and demand it. They're comfortable confronting other people and enjoy it. People extremely low in politeness are motivated to engage in conflict and to seek out confrontation. They may have a strong tendency toward conduct disordered, antisocial, delinquent, even criminal behavior, particularly if male and adolescent. Okay, so I don't think I ever really went into the criminal behavior side of things, but confronting authority, yes, especially traditions. When people say, we have a tradition and we just do this all the time, I would ask, why the hell, why? What makes your tradition so important? Now, I'm understanding more as I listen to Jordan Peterson. I'm beginning to understand the power and the what tradition is for. But inherently, I'm going to challenge the status quo. Just because it's the status quo doesn't make it right. That's where I'm coming from. So it also doesn't make it wrong, right? So, but for people like me who are not polite, we just bluntly throw it out there that, hey, I don't really care what your tradition says. You need to tell me, and see, this is me engaging in conflict, you need to tell me why your tradition actually holds value. If you can prove to me that it holds value and that's valuable to me, maybe I'll follow your tradition. If it doesn't have any value and your argument doesn't hold water, And too bad. I'm going somewhere else. So that didn't go over well in the Marine Corps. It doesn't go over well in institutions and schools. Okay? So, I mean, especially for a kid, if for me, like knowing that I'm not very polite, that would have been really helpful in high school, in college, and in the Marine Corps. To recognize that some of these things are important to other people. These are important things to other people, and I wasn't normal. Gosh, the core of all of this stuff is that I'm not a normal person when I score this far to one side of the spectrum or the other. And I need to move toward the 50% line, the normative line, at least in my behavior, right? So what I have is an awareness of this now, that this is the way I am. And when I'm functioning in my own zone and it's all by myself, or I'm functioning with people like me, I'm great. I'm happy. I'm a debater. I love to debate, right? So this confrontation, prove it. There's space for people like that in the world. Ben Shapiro, right? Very much not polite. But he's doing what? He's having an impact. It may not be the nicest impact, but he makes a point. So, all right, what do I need to know about this? What do you need to know about this? This is only reading off my side of the politeness scale. The other side, the 98th percentile of it, is not listed here. And this is the one weakness of an assessment like this, is that it only gives you your results. It doesn't give you the opposite. Now, the agreeableness, it gives you the opposite a little bit, but it doesn't break this down. If I had my wife's results here alongside, then maybe we could look at, we could probably see what polite people actually look like. So, but anyway, let's stop there with compassion and politeness, the first subfactors for agreeableness.